Hi, my name is Stacy Shields. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the drug called Ecstasy. It's known as the club drug. A little bit about Ecstasy is it's formerly known as MDMA. That's what it was called when it was first discovered. It's been popular for 4 to 5 decades. It's also known by Molly, the letter X, the letter E, beans, love drug, or rolls. When you take ecstasy, it increases your dopamine and your serotonin levels, which causes your neurotransmitters in your brain to go crazy, which is why it results in a euphoric feeling. It increases your euphoria, of course, and your empathy, your energy, your sexual desire. You're very relaxed and you have an enhanced perception, which means everything feels good. It was discovered by accident by a German chemist in 1912 by the name of Anton Kolitz. He was trying to find a vasoconstrictor to stop bleeding, and he discovered this drug instead. He tried to patent it in 1914, but because it had no medical use, it was denied a patent. In the 1950s, the U.S. government and the U.S. Army both tried to study its effects. The government was going to use it in psychological warfare, and the Army was testing the toxicology of it, but both of the studies were dismissed and the results were also dismissed. In 1978, Alexander Shulgin and David Nichols wrote a study about it. They thought it would be helpful in therapy. So also in 1978, Leo Zeff joined them. He was a psychotherapist that used this drug to treat his patients. It's a Schedule I drug. It has no medical use. It's highly addictive. The users that use this drug become psychologically dependent on it. It reduces the need for food, water, or sleep because of the euphoric feeling that you get when you take this drug. Your body just thinks it needs nothing else. It just needs that drug to keep the relaxed state it's in. It leaves the user relaxed and euphoric. It's a similar effect to the Indian drug peyote. Now, peyote is a psychological drug. Peyote is a psychological drug that causes the user to think that they're in another state of mind forever. The effect of this can last for hours, up to days. It has a very hard crash that can cause depression, loneliness, or insomnia. And when those things are being felt, you have to take another dose of it, which is what causes the addictiveness, because you take another dose to get rid of those feelings. The ingestion of the drug is by pill, by swallowing a bomb. When a bomb is just the drug wrapped in a cigarette paper and swallowed. They use a powder. With the powder, they dip their finger in it and they lick it, and that's how they ingest it. Or they put it in liquid and dissolve it, which is why it's also called a date rape drug, because people don't know that it's been dissolved, and then they relax, and then the person can do whatever they want to the other person. There's a small number of people that will crush it and snort it, similar to like cocaine. Because it's a club drug, it's also ingested in these ways over here on this side. Pacifiers, they dip it into the powder. The blow pop suckers and popsicle sticks are also dipped in the powder, and then they use them to lick or suck on. Pills are often mixed with M&Ms or Skittles. Sometimes they are added to the candy necklaces. That takes a lot of work, so it's not very often. They do something called Vicks Vapor Rub, which is where they take the powder and they get it a little wet and they rub it inside like a painter's mask, and then they put it over their face and ingest it that way by inhaling it. Then they have a Molly baggie, and a Molly baggie is a reusable bag, plastic bag, a small mirror that has some dust on it, like powder dust or whatever, and rolled dollar bills and a razor blade that they use to crush it, and then they snort the powder through their nose. The use of the drug and the reasons that it's used. The drug is being used as early as the age of 12 because it's a follower drug. Kids will follow other people to be on the in crowd. There are some users that are high school aged, but the most common age, because it's a club drug, is between the ages of 18 and 25. As it's common at parties, house parties, concerts, festivals. It's any place where there's a lot of chaos, a lot of people. As of 2014, 500,000 people had reported use of it. They've reported use of it and or addiction to it. The reasons for the use is because it's a party scene drug. So of course, if you're at a party, you have to be part of the party. They use it to escape reality. Because the drug makes you feel euphoric, it just gives you the feeling that you don't need anybody anymore. So reality just kind of stops. Teenagers and young people use it to follow the crowd. And of course, it's also been known as a date rape drug, which you relax the person you want to be with and you take advantage of them after they ingest the drug. So they really don't know that they're ingesting it, but they are. The legal response and disposal of this drug. The dealers of this drug can face prison time. Lifetime prison sentences have been given for it because they yield to children, minors. The repeat offenders, they face jail time and loss of their license. Education for this drug is being pushed now. A lot of schools, places like the National Child Safety Council are publishing packets and things about these types of drugs so kids can learn about them when they start elementary school. And it moves up into middle school, and then once they hit high school, they know what they need to know to say no to this drug. But because it's a party drug, a lot of kids will ignore what they've already learned, so they're trying to push the education more. For disposal of this drug, there are disposal stations available. If you can't find a disposal station, contact the police station and they'll let you know where to go. And the last thing I'm going to talk to you about is the stereotypes. Like I've mentioned before, it's a date rape drug. It hasn't been totally proven, so a lot of people are using it this way, but it can't be proven that they're using it this way on purpose. It's said to burn a hole in your brain. Your neurotransmitters go crazy when you're on this drug. So it affects your sleep patterns, it affects your eating patterns, your appetite. It affects a lot of things that your brain controls. So therefore they're saying that it causes brain damage. And the rehab for this, people say that it only takes a couple weeks, but in actuality, it's a drug that needs to be removed from your system in stages. The stages include therapy, treatment, family support. There is an actuality of reoccurrence, like being re-addicted to it. So you need a plan on how to stay away from it and how to get off of it if you do get back on it again. There's a lot more about this drug that you can learn, but it's too much or more than I can talk about in this presentation. So if you want to learn more about it, just get online and type in the name, and it will give you all the information you'd ever want to know about this. Thank you.